that's been coming for a long time. They just don't have the legs, in my eyes, to really challenge for the championship team. I just think after stage 2, whenever they didn't do well at the Berlin Major, I would have thought, okay, that's whenever you start changing your playstyle. That's whenever you try and reinvent yourself. They didn't do that. They went in again, stage 3, exact same mindset, same mentality, so slow, doesn't have the map pull. And again, what happened? Inside of Jönköping, sent home again. For me, if they were going to change it, they would have done it after stage 2. And I don't think they're going to change it again. I think it's going to be the same old Wolves, and they're just going to be so easy to play against. It's the reason why Outsiders didn't make it to this event, because they were so easy to play against for a team like Secret, because you knew exactly what they're going to do.
Yeah, there's something missing. There was something that was definitely missing yesterday. As well, you saw them suffer in their opening game, their opening showdown. Wolves were some of the lowest rated of any of the players that performed yesterday, and it's a surprise. Hey, Solis, get out of here.
Yeah, Solus ban. I think it's a great ban in terms of Cafe.
Oh, it was coming. After yesterday, it was coming.
You think about the way that windows work on this map, where there's a lot of jump outs. There's all that kind of goes into the rank style that you can play with Cafe. It's very different than what we see on the clubhouses and the Oregons. What's one thing that Solus is great at? Of course, you're going to say, oh, drones. Not just drones. Excels in being able to see gadgets. One of those gadgets, Claymores. What do we have on Cafe? A lot of windows. Claymore in the window stops the jump outs. You can see what windows are Claymore to then pursue that aggressive playstyle. I think it's a very, very good ban. By Soniqs, because what did I say about Wolves? They will probably fall into that aggressive playstyle on Cafe. They will have to try and change things from what they were yesterday.
Yep.
I think brilliant insight from Soniqs. Love that ban.
I think one of the things that we saw yesterday, if you weren't quite able to make the first day of groups, was Solus was everywhere. The P90 was an absolute terror across the board, and Cafe, we even saw her getting live reads out the window, using that as the lean-in for a jump out, or getting just freebies against the drone. Entirely right, and we'll see if we get the pressure cooking. It's not even starting on the top floor. Now, there was a point of this map that Jesse Jacek, the NA babyface that he is, said, oh my god, Soniqs are on Cafe. They haven't played it since the previous team merger of E-United. It has been that long to have Soniqs on this map.
Yeah, again, I think Citizen will bring his ideas in. I think that's one thing that you have to mention. Obviously, Geo as well. I think TSM were a team that they were a good Cafe side. I think they were able to bring in a lot of that. I think you put the heads together of Geo and Citizen with their experience in this map and their respective teams. I think it'll be good. Obviously, we'll have to see how that works out, but I think at the moment, Soniqs already with the bans, I think I'm impressed. I like the fact that they went for Niana. Takes out 3 players, essentially, from Wolves. Takes out P4, Shinka, and Mowgli all at once.
Yeah. Well, I mean, P4 was taken out entirely the game yesterday. He was the lowest performer, and here's something that we need to see come into effect here. I put it as my head-to-head before this game came together. I want to see how P4 and Citizen might hit heads. There's some familiarity here for the Guns of Wolves, and sometimes that works better. There's Rise. He has a habit of popping off when he's been popped off on a previous day. Takes the first, BB gets the second, Citizen off the back line. Suddenly the pressure's coming right down the side of Train. Gunner, he's looking for a fight round on the corner of Zulu. There's a swing onto Mowgli, who's tucked close in. They use his awareness. Yeah, fantastic play there from Gunner. He's going to pull himself back and make sure they can restructure the hold.
Look at this setup, by the way, from Soniqs. This is a mining and fireplace defense. It's not the reading. And Soniqs are essentially trying to hold about 80% of the map. That's something I don't see every day, and I don't think it's worked at the moment. They've lost 2 players. I think for this strat to stay intact, everyone needs to stay alive. It is almost like a Jenga tower. You pull out the wrong block and everything just tumbles with it. Wolves, I think, very on the money. Straight in, they see the weaknesses. They are able to separate the Soniqs players. Lack of refrags from Soniqs at the moment. That's why you've seen Gunner have to go for a swing to at least pull something back. But yeah, I think the aim for Soniqs hasn't worked out there for them, Fluke. And yeah, Wolves right now, all the case of it's just drone, find out where they are and get a plant down. There's going to be no real denial coming out from Soniqs. Gunner is not going to feel safe enough, I think, to use the echo cams. And there's only one C4, and look where Geo is nowhere in position to use it.
Yeah, the pressure is about to swing around on Geo, an important firefight, and actually pulled away from him. P4 doesn't want to risk it. 40 seconds, and they're going to start to structure themselves with the attack. There is often less seen on this side itself, so the pressure's going to come through, and Shinka's inside, tucked on the corner, but with Grigsa getting the big one, Shinka needs to bite back and does. The rotate up towards the top. Gunner and Geo, both of them retaking this verticality, seeing if they can try and take some problems and find a little hole in the armor of Soniqs, but seems like the kid's going to get stuck stuck. The angle comes through against it, leaving only Gunner in a post-plant situation. A bit of a spray. The lie down on the kit itself gets the final kill, and Wolves open up with a success.
As expected, I think that strat, as soon as you lose the first couple of kills, it's difficult to get yourself back into it again.
Yep.
Again, like I said, I like the way Wolves approached that, being able to know exactly where the players were, get those opening picks, and they go from there. So yeah, shaky start from Soniqs. I would say they'll probably go a little bit more default now. I think they tried their exotic rounds, their exotic hold. And they'll probably bring it down the basics for Kitchen now. One point also I want to make about Wolves on a map like Cafe.
Throw it down.
I think they have the players to really excel on that map. I think you've got your Mowglis, I think you've got your P4s. I think Cafe's a map where the kind of crouch walk backstab element comes into it. And I think you've got the characteristics of players who can do that. Not saying it's a bad thing. No. On this map, you want to have those kind of players. Yeah. That's whenever you're playing to your strengths, and that's one thing that I don't think Wolves has been doing for the past year, is playing to the strengths of their players.
Let's see if Wolves can start to keep the sort of train moving here after they took the first round in the train down. Thank you. Down towards Kitchen. And we're going to see Soniqs on, I'm going to say, a little bit more of a traditional side. I think that from at least most of the other regions, I'm not entirely sure on the exact statistics, but train room, the heavy machinery room itself, usually gets less of a face time with the rest of the board. But Soniqs don't really play this map as well, so I'm super curious to see just what they start to shape together. Here it will be, once again, a bit of a quick bit of pressure down onto the coat check, seeing if they can check the player out, but it's a power position that's just going to be held around, tucked on the corner by Citizen. They have the awareness, they have the drones and the eyes around at the back end, so it's this, the famed pitter-patter rainfall take. Start at the top, slowly work your way down and see if you can control the space.
Yeah, on Cafe, it's all about time management. Cafe is a map for me that I don't think you can go for minimalistic attacks. I think you're kind of forced in to have to take everything you can. Just because of the way the roam works, free sets of staircases, a lot of verticality, you can get blown up from beneath.
Mowgli, yeah, pushing down, trying to get the chase. There's a second player that was ready and waiting for the swing round there. Rexon just escapes with their life. Geo still has the structure to offer this as a power position. It was mainly Rexon that almost got caught out there, a bit adventurous. Will they try and find an escape route? It's a bit dangerous. The shield is going to be put under a lot of pressure sooner rather than later. Shinka's going for a bit of width. They're doing some of that hard work above the site itself, and Rise is able to find Grixer, knocks them out of the board from above.
Yeah, questionable there from Grixer. Losing your life to vertical gameplay on Cafe Kitchen defense doesn't happen, or at least it shouldn't happen. And the reason why is if you think about Kitchen, all that verticality can be opened up from above. Soniqs know that. Wolves have done that. The way now you play Cafe defense is you just get out of Kitchen and you try and hold it from other positions. You can hold it from VIP, you can hold it from Coat, hold it inside a bakery. Yeah, it's just that they're losing picks here from Soniqs and they're not getting the refrags. It happened last round.
Yeah, Geo lost the shield. As I said, it's a point of big pressure. Still has some ADSs to buy himself some lifeline, and obviously the pockets that, well, they're now empty, but whilst he has a moment with the coverage and support here of the control they've got of Bar, where are they going? Back up top. See if they can maybe get themselves set up, get a surprise take, and try and bite back some of the verticality. It's time management, but time does need to be taken to get the top.
I hope the flanks are covered, because if the flanks are not, Geo can smoke two of them and then has all of the upstairs to play with. He has that verticality.
There's one. Oh, it's actually Gio's dug himself back in, though, but they're inside the site now. They push their way through into Freezer. Shinka once again with the kit. He's tucked himself in a corner. They have some of the angle to watch it from above, but yeah, with the Echo off the board, they can only really sit and wait. There's a bit of movement. They suffer as they slip their way through. Citizen gets one on the back end, but it's a post plant. Citizen and Rex, and they're able to find one more. Suddenly it's just Shinka locked in the middle of the site. They're going to see if they can find themselves just a little bit more safety on the back end of Kitchen Cooking. They're hopping their way over to prep as the pings come through. Takes one to plant, one to defuse, and as they take the drop there, Rexon's just going to keep the cover close by. There's a bit of a jiggle fight. Citizen on the back end of the hefty chassis. They need to try and cross this, a no man's land, or they just cross the bullets on Bibu's head. Or Shinka even.
Wow. Great retake from Soniqs. Top drawer stuff, losing the first two opening picks. I think you have to give Geo some big credit there for getting at least that first kill back in the favor of them. I think getting that first kill whenever you're kind of in the mud just helps you tenfold. So yeah, all credit to Geo getting them out. And then you could see the composure from Soniqs. What's one thing that they had the entire time during that? The Vault cams, the information.
Well, I guess we'll see how this goes. There has just been a technical timeout. I saw things get paused waited for the confirmation. Technical timeout after this. It's on the side of Wolves, so seems like something is wrong with Bibu's side. We'll hopefully get that fixed sooner rather than later. 2 opening rounds, though. One going either way, both of them having a plant in. Wolves definitely feel like there's more structure and bite towards their approaches than there was yesterday. I mean, it couldn't be much worse than it was yesterday.
Yeah.
But it is feeling like they're a little bit more like they're feeling this fight.
Yeah, it's a better approach from them. I like the way that they're not sitting back waiting for things to happen, which is what I think just that's what beat them against M&M. M&M's a side that you have to give respect to. I think the fragging potential on that roster it's unreal. It is. Sometimes you think Solotov can just kick off any moment, and look what he can do. And I think Wolves felt that yesterday.
Yeah.
Today, I think for Wolves, getting off the right start is crucial. It's everything for that side to give them a bit of hope after yesterday. Because, hey, it can't be easy after what happened yesterday to come in today and play against Soniqs of all teams as well. It's probably a team that you want to see.
Soniqs on the back of a Liquid defeat yesterday as well. Soniqs were able to handily take control of what are a favorite team for a lot of Latin American fans, for a lot of fans around the world. You look at Team Liquid as one of those big contenders, and it's not that Soniqs...
What, contender for second place again?
How dare you? It's
wrong.
not that Soniqs aren't a favorite. For me, actually, they're my favorite NA team. If I think any NA team at this event is going to lift the hammer, I would put my horses on Soniqs.
Yeah, because...
And this is...
Yeah, I would say I'm the same, but that's just because I have an investment in that team.
Yeah.
In terms of one player, and that's really it.
You do.
You know?
You are famously... I enjoy the team. I think there's a really good dynamic. There's great energy behind the team. I think from watching a lot of teams play Siege across the year especially, they're one of the teams that they kept trying new things.
They did.
There's never an end towards what I enjoy Soniqs doing.
Yeah, and obviously we've seen them this year. They were a good side. They were a good side. Think about the roster move. Could you get a better trade player for player? You're getting Super. No offense to Super, right? He'll admit this himself. He ain't Citizen.
He's co-streaming now.
He ain't Citizen.
If he's admitting this himself, he's co-streaming.
Yeah,
right?
he's not Citizen, right? You think about Citizen.
No, I'm just
what he's been able to do. You know, it is an upgrade. It's an upgrade. It's an upgrade. Sorry, Super.
I mean, it wasn't technically that wasn't the swap though.
But you know what I mean. Like Super's out, and you know.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, there's still a face of the team. I still think what the players do in a map with Soniqs, more than a lot of other teams, you can see the hard work that gets done behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
By the team behind, by Goddess, by Super, by JoBro, by the team that helps develop alongside the team. It's so apparent in this. It's like you get here's the 5 co-authored by, and it's why they're just so exciting to watch, because it really is that mechanical, that heavy brain side of Siege comes together. But
they're up for it. I think the win yesterday, it's just going to help them massively. You know, that first win is the most important.
Well, let's see how this goes. Now, Solace did get a lot of play yesterday, and someone else who did is in the pockets of Gunner right now. His army has been a consistent break in what there is a lot of angles. There was some
She's the most played operator. So
yeah, she is the architect of the current sort of gameplay of Siege. If you think about how before his army there used to be these long extensions with angles and ideas, and Mowgli finding Raxin as we started off, once again Mowgli having a bit more of a bite today. Azami allows those big spaces to be played and changed.
Third opening pick for Wolves again. Soniqs not the races in terms of getting those opening entries, but obviously Wolves, you know, we've seen that they struggled closing it out the last round. So let's hope they can do a better job this time around. I think Nomad should be just ran all the time from Wolves. I think it's going to help them out a lot. You know, we've seen Soniqs, they're eyeing up those flanks as best as they can. We see them use the staircases really well. You need to have some form of protection in that department. So I hope we see that trend continue with Wolves. We've got this upstairs hold, of course. You know, this classic mirror window setup. You have to kind of go through that. But once again for Wolves, in straight away. Nobody up here fighting against them. They have free range now, a full minute to do the vertical work and then eye up their plant. Like right now, if you're Wolves, you're feeling good. This is exactly how it should go in your head. This should be the step-by-step process.
A little bit of a lull, a little bit of a hold as they start to get a better idea of quite where the placement's going on. You can never count off the ideas of C4s in pocket, and as they start to break and batter their way across there, Grixer ripped and ready to go. Waiting for the ping, we heard one pre-place pop off there, didn't quite get the full catch. The second, Well, they're going to wait for a bit more of a rotation. It's just that consistent audio the players above will get that only really puts a bit of fear. Look at the time, though, 30 seconds. Push has to come to shove.
And also keep in mind, look at Rex, and he's using the default cam. That tells me there isn't actually any good Valkyrie cameras that they're using because P4's been able to disable them. So that's a bit of a difference that we have now that, of course, Wills didn't have in their last attack.
Pressure onto the reading door. They're trying to formulate themselves straight through towards the default plant spot and tuck it in. Shinka, he's got himself in pocket with the cover of the door itself and vertical under their control. This is all in, but look at the rotation round on the back. The Azami, they get the down on one. They can't quite get the lock-in from the second, but the kit is out of pocket down on the floor. A quick pick back up, a quick coverage now. There's BB with some control over to the side of Laundry. Geo, he's digging his way through. He's able to get the care and gets the drop on the door player. They're going to the shotgun. It's locked down. Geo gets the pieces over the line.
Wow. Again, Wolves. The flanks. It's happened again to them, Fluke. How is the flanks being allowed to happen at such late times? I'm looking at Goddess's expression. Even Lauren's thinking, how have we got away with that one? Because Wolves should not be losing from that position. All the vertical done. You've baited out the C4s. There's no C4 denial left for Soniqs, and they still botch it. I don't know. And yeah, timeout as expected. I think you needed this now because that's a tilt. That's a tilt round.
I mean, 30 seconds, they had themselves set up on the new back, they had themselves watching down towards the pillar's door, but a couple seconds too late. If they were in position a second earlier, they might have been able to stop the swing. The downed player was able to call this as well. The downed player got caught out. It was a bit of a pick back up from the player around getting the kit. It was, as you said, Soniqs. They bit themselves background into the map. They had some control. They just didn't cover their own end. Wolves.
Soniqs are playing the way that I love seeing Siege be played, and that is just make the play. You have to do something. You know, look at that flank that we've seen come in. You just have to go for it. You know, what ones if he just sits back and sits inside of train? What do you get? You have to take big chances like this. This is SI. You only get one chance at this. Well, if you want to walk away from this game, if you're Soniqs, oh, I wish I did this. You don't want to leave anything. You want to put everything you have into this game.
It's a long road to another SI. And you're not even guaranteed it. Look at, I don't know, the previous champions of the past two SIs. They're not here. For context, if you're watching your first ever SI, welcome. This is game 1 of day 2. And the reigning champions couldn't get here, and the champions of the previous year couldn't get here.
No Mickeys.
The team that was second place last year isn't here. You never know how the year will herald.
Yep. Unless
you're Jackie and love star signs and know everything.
No, it's weird to see, you know, some of the big teams, and instead we've got Crappie.Secrets appears. How does that happen?
Don't besmirch Secret in a game they're not.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Secret later on. I am. Looking forward to it.
All right, Soniqs, let's see what the take-two here is. This is obviously, of the 3 rounds, the only one that you've lost so far. What's the change? What's the force? And what's Wolves going to do? What do they do after the attack timeout? What do they talk about? Maybe we need to kind of get our heads back into this. Soniqs are, as you said, running a little bit rampant on the roam, and that's why BB might have stepped up with the Nomad here. Get a little bit more control. Get more of an idea of just where Soniqs want to be and how you can stop them. Because most of these roams and flanks that we've seen over the past 2 rounds, they're either coming quite late in the round, or in the case of the kitchen hold, with a 2-body deficit was when the strikes started to bite themselves back in. They still have, obviously, the Azami. They have some structure here on the top, and Rexon is giving themselves a little bit of a fortress, but it's to try and draw this attention. The shield as well. They're really stuck down hard here.
So going back to this site again, into the mining. Obviously, they've changed their ideas up. They're not going for that extension with the mirror this time around. They've also sacked off the Echo. I think the Valkyrie's done them really well. I think you can see the information they've been able to gain early on. It's forced Wolves then into always picking IQ, and apart really from the gadget, IQ ain't bringing you much. Again, the opening kill goes in favor of Wolves. That is 4 times in a row. I think Soniqs should be questioning themselves there, the fact that they haven't got one back at all during these couple of rounds. Don't tell me that's a missed drone. Don't tell me there's a missed drone. This could be huge from Geo. Tucked in, somebody bait it for him. They know there's one top white. P4 has eliminated that player. And now Geo's in the middle of it. There's one behind him, there's one in front of him. He takes the shot, but no, I think he's going to get cleaned up here.
Yeah, Shink around on the back. He's able to pop it and get two. Geo should not be allowed to get away with that, Wolves. And suddenly suddenly all the intel fell away from him, and he just didn't care. Got the C4 on the first, swung around to the fight on the second, tucked in waiting for the crossing of the guard. There's a rotation towards the top of the skylight as well, but look at the time that is ticking away here. A 3 versus 2. Wolves still have the man advantage, and they're using it to put the pressure onto this. The sole player up here, they don't quite escape the position, but Geo almost once again could have controlled a round.
Yeah, shouldn't happen, but it has. And well, Grixer, 20 seconds to hold out, LMG in hand. All Wolves need to do is literally stick together. Don't give them the 1v1s. Make sure you get the trades and win the round. It should be that simple. They know where he is now. Just a case of getting the kills. There we go. Easy.
I mean, you say easy. It's not been an easy road.
Hey, for a team of this caliber and what they've done this year, it should be easy.
It's true. I think they're the 3rd seed, maybe even the 2nd seed over the whole year. Only 2 teams that was at every single major throughout the year. I guess there's, you know, things to be said that often where Wolves fall apart is in a best of 3. Whether that's a reference to map pool or exhaustion, you can never truly know the full read on the data. They're good at best of 1s and getting themselves out of groups, but after that is where things have really come off the wheels. This is their map. This is a map, again, for context. Soniqs technically, now obviously there's been big roster changes since then, technically haven't played this since a merger about a year ago. Maybe even more. I'm trying to remember how long ago that was done. 2 years ago?
Yeah, well,
time.
Obviously that's, you know, Super picked up 4 people in one stage.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of where it you know,
but
from there.
This is finally the moment where, you know, it's on the board. They could have technically banned it. They want to find themselves here. They're going to Skyscraper next as well, which, you know, it's a good Soniqs map. It's not a good Wolves map, I think, is the idea there. You never know unless you're in the ban conversations with the team, but you would piece it together that they're banking on the weakness of Wolves on Skyscraper more than I would say them going, this is our sort of hottest map.
Yeah. In here, I look at Soniqs and I'm really shocked that they haven't went top floor. I think
at all.
There's a personal preference, I think, with teams where they think it's either hit or miss. I think some teams will love top floor. They think, you know, that's where you need to go first. But there's some teams that actually just detest it and just don't go there.
I think it's more common in EU as a first pick.
It is.
And definitely Latin America and NA.
Mostly just because getting into that bomb site and getting spawn peaked is the tricky thing in EU. That's what you struggle with. But yeah, hey, it's their rotation, their map. They can go what they want to go with, and they're back down to Kitchen, which was a round that Wolves should have been winning. They should have been winning from the position they were at last time, having 2 kills, 5 versus 3. All the vertical done for them, can easily plant, but just no flank protection.
Mowgli almost suffered the wrong end of the stat for the first time of being negative on the entry. It's something actually where, technically based on yesterday. Oh yeah, this is sudden. There it is, the Nook. Can't quite get the shots locked, the swing round, and Rexon finally breaks the curse. P4, things well away, and another wheel falls off. Mowgli caught out by Citizen. Soniqs, for the first time ever, not only have the entry, but the follow-up. They are now sitting in the 5 versus 3 situation.
That's what I want from Wolves. I want the rat play. Stuff like that works. He just missed the shots.
He did miss.
You know, that's all you can say. He needs to be hitting those, and that would really open up Soniqs. It would create a bit of chaos, a bit of panic in the roster, but nope, they've lost it now, and I think Soniqs are in a very good position. Wolves are really going to struggle to break through this. Gunner finds another one. Shinka sure he gets it back, but the damage has been done, and with a minute to go, Wolves have nothing. They don't have a Scooby-Doo what to do now.
Shinka suffers the long-range fire from the back end of Prep. There's a shotgun. Doesn't quite get the full meat. Rise does find one on the back as well. Citizen's gone out of nowhere. It's a 2 versus 2 with 50 seconds. Wolves, they have been able to bite a bit, but with Geo still on the board, you never can tell. And Geo's going, well, I'm going to see what's upstairs, up the top. There is a lot of soft above where they're positioning themselves. Will he get the call? The plant played for a second there, but pulled back off. They're cautious of the swing that might come around either side. Are they watching on a drone at this point, or any bit of intel? They're sort of just tucked around. No, it's just Rexon. Tucked around in the corner. Shinka, they're going for the plant. They're hoping that there's no full awareness on where the player is. Rise, he's watching around the back end. They've got to make a move a little too late. Does suffer a scrape. There's There's a rotation coming around the bottom of red. I think at this point they're trying to pinch out the corridor on the back-end player. There's Geo. Gets the kill! The SMG with Rexon in the site, and Soniqs are now at 4 plants. 3 of them Soniqs have won.
Geo can't get away with this. Geo's walking in the gunfights, and I don't know. Rise should be nailing him every day of the week.
Call him Geo Magic.
Again, Soniqs, the fact that Wolves are even allowed to get back in there is questionable. I think the refrags from Soniqs hasn't been too good today. I think they've been allowing Wolves to pull back kills and never really getting any in exchange. I think that's one thing for me. I have to look at Soniqs and think opening kills and the refrags.
I think there's a modicum of that is the awkwardness around this map. I think that there's still signs of the confidence that we had from them yesterday. There's still those moments the big team play, but Cafe can be an awkward map if you're trying to get yourself into a refrag fight in certain positions.
The thing is, for me, they're losing 2 players who are both beside each other in Bakery, and they're not refragging each other.
Yeah,
that's for me. You know, I get what you mean with, you know, it can be. It's just by yourself.
Good play space. Yeah.
I think there's a few times there that the refrag should have definitely happened. So yeah, there's just minor things that I'm picking up on. Now we go to what we were waiting for is the top floor. I'm surprised it didn't come out sooner. You've got Mira open for top floor, which is one of the most toughest things to play against. The Mira windows for top floor are extremely good in just denying access to piano.
And Azami. I think Azami.
Azami speaks for itself.
Yeah,
Azami, look at all the tables, look at all the chairs you have in piano.
Exactly.
It's not a nice place to deal with. You have to invest a lot of Gone 6s, nades. Keep in mind, Wolves are already going to be crippled in the utility department because they're forced to run an IQ because Valkyrie's been there. Like I mentioned before, IQ doesn't bring anything apart from the gadget. It's going to be tricky for Wolves to really break that down. You're telling me you want to use the only explosives you have in the form of nades to really waste, you know, get rid of those Kiba barriers. They can't afford to bring the Sophia, they can't afford to bring the Ash. I guess I'm just surprised when they see it earlier because you play to the ops that are open, in my opinion.
Yeah, you play the game ahead of you. And that's always the thing. And obviously we're at a point now with the game, with the meta, and with the amount of operators that conversations have opened up towards widening the ban and the amount that you can sort of limit and play because there's a lot of opening. Hey, talking of, Rise does find Geo, almost finds Gunnar as well as the second fight here. The Nomad on the window, an operator that since they've suffered the back-end rotation, well, that's one way to kill the guy that's really rotated around the back end of you a few times here, Wolves. Grixer, they're holding close just underneath, but look at this, Mowgli on the Nook, being droned ahead, trying to find the steady fight. There is obviously the Valk that's waiting for some awareness. There's a bit of intel, there's a little bit more. They're going to try and take the fight through the soft, no, but in the meantime, Gunner's taking one, and Mowgli gets the important kill on the back end. Look at this though, the pit in the top left, P4, he's going for the plant in the meantime. He's just tucking it right behind the mirror window. Rexon pops up, gets the kill, and gets that broken backwards. They can't use it to see him from the window.
What am I watching? What's going on?
You almost missed it.
Like, they've just been able to swing in top heaven. They've tried to stick the defuse that got denied. He's going for the same defuse again. Rexon, just do the same again. You'll get a kill. Oh, no! Diffuser being planted to him.
That's it. The diffuser's planted. They have Shinka up here on top, watching from the skylight. Rise is on the windows itself. They have the body count to try and throw somebody at this problem, and Rise knows this. So he goes in, but gets knocked right back out. There's the movement, and there's Soniqs. 4 plants, 4 diffusers. Only 1 finding success after suffering the entry almost every single round.
They can't keep getting away with this.
They have.
They can't.
Like, you can say that, but they have.
What was the approach for Wolves? Sneak a plant against a Valkyrie and a Maestro and the mirror windows being up. Was that the idea? I feel as though information has been top draw from Soniqs today. Nothing's really slipped past their nose. Anything that moves, they know about it. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Welcome back to casting. You get time to have a bit of disbelief here.
Just.
It's rough. There's no sort of 2 ways about it. Okay, Cafe does lie itself well to defenders. There's a good balance of defensive.
Yeah.
Can move in on this. Is that me looking for band-aids for a problem? Yes. Wolves, as you said.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say you're looking for. I think it's fair enough.
No, but I wouldn't say that that's the big reason that this is falling apart. Because Wolves got the plant off 5 of 6 rounds.
Wolves have... What's the best way to put it? I feel as though they've tried to focus on the plants a lot, rather than the important things like the flanks. That's, you know, there's been a few rounds that's really killed them in that department.
It's been rough. It's been rough for Wolves, and obviously it couldn't have been rougher than it was yesterday. They find themselves here trying to piece things together in a problem that, I mean, what is the problem? It's a lack of control over what your opponents are doing. It's a lack of face. They have the defense working for them now. They have a little bit more wiggle room. So what will they build behind it?
Lineup from Wolves doesn't scream this is a top floor defense. Again, Azami missing, Mira missing is the two big ones for me. No Valkyrie as well. You know, not really opting for that. Citizen realizing that Nook's open straight on it, knows it's going to be great for the cafe. Can just crouch walk yourself in. We've seen that already, what Wolves can do in that department. Bibi needs to be careful because Citizen is right beside him in the next room. There's a likelihood that Citizen could get 2 here.
I mean, if you have the first like that through the soft, Citizen pulls themselves back in. You can see some awareness and attention is being paid now towards the location. Bibu, the calls are coming through. They know he's close. He's holding the angle. He's waiting for some wiggle room, but Citizen doesn't really have to do too much right now. He's drawn the attention, the focus on the fire, and he's sort of saying, come find it. P4. They went to creep their way down white to offer some support. They're concerned about the window. Geo has that. A little bit unlocked, but as I said, there's always the danger here with the jump outs.
It's an east side plant. That's happening because look where the diffuser is in the hands of Geo. He's on the east rappel. They are making sure that Citizen has the stable control of beneath before they go for it. He'll hear that. The Dokkaebi call's going. Don't worry about that, Em. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Yep, he knows where he is. He's tucked around on the hard wall. He's drawing attention. They're going to see if they can try and swing for the push. They rotate around Zulu instead of going via pillars. They're inside the back end. Rexon goes for the fight across the board, but it's Citizen that finds Bibu. That's in reading underneath. They've got that now, but Mowgli and Rise have one back apiece. Of consistency with Geo being ever consistent as ever. And if this is the game of back and forth right now, the
Skylight drop
versus 2, they have themselves set up. Rexon, he's still trying to just hold the other side of the Aruni gate and see if he can get a bit of wiggle room and swing, but with 40 seconds, you got to make that kit move, Geo.
Still have time. I think good composure now for Soniqs. They've gotten their kills, they have the man advantage. Sure, the initial attack didn't work, but now they realize there's nobody actually stopping them from dropping in towards Cigar Shop. Now it's the 1v3. Geo's going to get the plant down, but Rexon holds his nerve. Brilliant round from Soniqs, from start to finish. And it's exactly the way that they played yesterday. It's the way we thought they would play. Look at Citizen below. They're trying to go for the east side take. They know immediately, okay, what's the one thing that's going to stop us from doing that? Any guy with a C4 below. Okay, let's send Citizen downstairs by himself, but not really by himself because they have a Dokkaebi. That's kind of like having a friend, like a ghost companion who, you know, kind of follows you around. You can hear if anyone's near. He's downstairs, and you've seen the way that Soniqs, they all stood and wait until Ben says, I am ready. Nobody moves until everyone is in position, and then they execute like that. Sure, it didn't really work, the initial idea of planting on east side. It doesn't go ahead unless Rexon gets that first kill on the guy inside a cocktail, but they still get the kills to back it up. You know, Citizen downstairs taking on an army. Then really good composure, looking at the clock. Okay, we've got 40 seconds here. Let's figure out what we want to do. If we know they're towards the east, let's go towards the west. Let's go where they're not. Drop in towards red, get another plant down. Great round. Loved it. Love it.
Love it. The kill game has been better from Wolves throughout this. It's not entirely as doom and gloom as it might have seemed yesterday, but the longer this goes on, the more Soniqs can keep just driving this home. That second map is going to be so...
They're going to grow into the series, and that's what Wolves do not want, is to give them a better confidence behind themselves.
Timeout's already been called by Wolves.
Exactly.
A while ago, the timeout was called back when we found ourselves just 3 rounds deep, I think it was. And here, since then, they've been able to get one more directly after that, and then it's been a straight run of 3 in the pockets of Soniqs. Will they find themselves knocking on 2 map point after this? The losses that were faced by Wolves yesterday, they were 3-7 and
Mowgli, no.
Oh, Mowgli shouldn't have really been able to take that. Takes a lot of damage on the back of that. A rare whiff that we've seen from Soniqs throughout the gameplay so far. But to be fair to Mowgli, he has been quite sharp. It's really been where the structure of the map has fallen apart for Wolves.
What?
Yes?
I just shouldn't happen.
No. but it does. And I mean, to be fair, a lot of this game, Rexon,
He's in!
He's in. He's got two. The Ashes decide he wants to go towards the site. Loses to Mowgli inside coat room. And then Grixer and Citizen get one apiece back. Suddenly P4. Everything to do here. 3 kills are necessary to see if he can try and keep them off map point and give themselves a bit of a breathing room. But look how much time there is. Soniqs are not stressed at this point, and they're more than happy to stretch that out and try and use the full use. Grixer doesn't need it. There's a drop. There is Soniqs still putting that pressure on now. 6-2. 4 rounds, 4 opportunities. They find themselves angling closer and closer to another 4 points.
The more I watch this team, the more I fall in love with it. It's my kind of team. The way they're playing the siege, someone makes a play, everyone's ready. Everyone's following him, jumping on that opportunity. He's walked in, found 2 kills. Look how quick it is for the rest of them to get in there. 5 seconds it takes them. Oh, you need to be hitting those, right? And also another thing, look at the time difference. Look how quick Soniqs are in, knowing exactly what they need to do. Look how long it gives them to actually figure out the final plan. Wolves didn't really look up, for a plan until about 20 seconds, and that cost them a lot. Soniqs are on the money. On the money from these attacks. I've been very, very impressed. And it takes a lot for that to win me over.
I mean, it does. You've also got to look at the structure of the group as well. Obviously, on the B stream, Dire Wolves, they didn't play yesterday, they're playing today. Liquid aren't playing from the group today. M&M and Soniqs both got a clean 4 points yesterday. If they both do the same thing today, suddenly you have 2 teams on 8 points, 3 of them on 0.
Yeah.
And you're thinking this is dangerous because there's only 3 play days left at that point.
I think that there's definitely a big possibility that I think M&M and Soniqs are eyeing up potential 1 and 2 seeds. And again, I think M&M today have quite an easy game again. I think no harm to Dire Wolves. I think the way M&M played yesterday.
It's not even about that. Dire Wolves, obviously, they've come in with an analyst. They're sort of having to put a little bit of a piece together roster here based on unfortunate circumstances. They'll still give it a game. They always have. But it's not a full-strength Dire Wolves, unfortunately.
So, yeah. Soniqs, 1 more round to go. Top floor is where they head again. East side take. Immediately you can see that. Good little tip for anyone. Just have a look. Whoever has the diffuser, that's generally where you're going to see the teams try and push from. If you see, Geo towards maybe the rooftop or the west side, you wouldn't expect your more traditional piano takes. Looking to plant in towards the trash corner inside of Long Bar.
People who play ranked, sometimes the Nook having the diffuser isn't always meaning that the round's going to be thrown.
Trust the process.
Trust the process. Trust the process. And
but yeah, I'm strange that Ben has it and not Geo.
C4 catches out Rexon. We've seen a fair bit of that utility thrown around, not a huge amount. Yeah, blown off the side of White and instantly rotated and pulled away.
Slight issue as well, that's nades gone. Citizen just used his other set of nades. Essentially now, the players from Wolves are going to be safe to kind of stand on the floor. Don't have to stand up on the bench. They can stand safely on the floor. They're not going to get picked off.
Citizen has dropped down. He might try and rotate himself up White stairs. They've got a different body and replacement that's heading over the top as well. They're reimagining the approach. In fact, it seems like they're going over to the windows on the far end.
Okay.
To see if they can try and reevaluate. I mean, a minute 20, you've got to, at that point, you've lost your lead, as you said, you've lost the nades as well to try and force those players out. There's still a lot in here, though. The Azami, as we said, just revolutionizes this room.
Now, the strat is, it's not really a strat, it's just you just have to get the gunfight against Mowgli, essentially. Or Rai, should I say. That's all you can do. You have to move in there, you have to move in towards Piano, and just win that engagement, because you don't have the nades anymore because you've lost Rexon early. You're not going to be able to plant inside of A. You cannot root the players outside a cocktail bar. You have to be forced in Piano, and there you go. They take the gunfights and they win it.
They win both, and suddenly, with 50 seconds and Gunner now buried inside of Freezer.
Where'd he come from?
Has drug and dug his way in. I think he came from the white window.
Surely
just
not.
beelined it across here. Mowgli, he's got himself tucked background. He's looking for the engagement, but it's long range, and he suffered the end of it. Bibu's had to rotate his way back up from underneath as well. 30 seconds. And you can see Soniqs, they're still just trying to fish for some space. An important take. Mowgli bites back, takes that player out that has somehow dug themselves into the core, and now the pressure can come from elsewhere. They have some drones, some intel, and here goes Citizen, the Nook. They're going to see if they can just try and tuck a plant here. Hidden by the cameras, hidden by the coverage. The flashes go out. Citizen suffers a scrape, just gets caught by Mowgli. Grixer gets one back, 10 seconds, with Bibu getting one more, and one more. Wolves, they find their 3rd round.
Yeah, that C4 kill at the start, you can see the impact that it's had. Wolves being able to eliminate Rex, and you don't have the nade. Soniqs have to kind of go for plan B. It's just winning the gunfights. And I think Wolves were good to realize the position that they were in. You see Mowgli, whenever he was, this swing here especially, he was actually sat kind of at the back for a good 10-15 seconds, waiting for, I think, was it Bibu, coming up the back stairs on white to make sure they can get the refrags, make sure that they can work together, which is good. I don't want to see Wolves jumping the gun. Let them plant if you need to. You've got that extra 45 seconds to have your retake.
I can only assume it was from the white window swinging, because we saw that's where the C4 kill was, and then they moved away. There wasn't anyone that was specifically on Lumber on the top of white to try and swing it. They had the player, I don't think there was anyone on Pixel either. I think they just had the quite aggressive Azami inside Piano around the sort of Christmassy corner.
Christmassy corner.
The Christmassy corner with the tree. It's very thematic. But that's, I mean, where else would they have come from? They were able to cut across the entire core of the site.
A mad one, isn't it?
Seeing that opportunity and taking it, though, it takes a lot of sort of team play, it takes a lot of building, and it's risky, but that's what the team's been doing.
This lineup from Soniqs, big switch up. Monty comes in.
Extended barrels?
I'm trying to figure out what's the go-to, because I don't think it's something that they need. Like, it's, you know, I think Monty kind of comes out whenever you are struggling with roamers, for example. I think that's when we generally see teams bring it out to gain themselves a bit of map control. I think Soniqs have really struggled with that. So it is strange.
I mean, this is the thing about them is you can have a look at a Soniqs game from one week to the next, and they'll, on the same map, play very different things. And that's, to throw back to the comments I made earlier on in the game, that's what I really enjoy about watching them, is they're as malleable as the game and meta allows them to be, and then some. But seeing where the Monty can kind of go, the kit's been passed over the hand, they can either utilize it as a sort of blunt object and have it as the moving wall with the cover either side and just sort of force and shepherd the players. They might even try and position a plant. We saw them try and get the Nook in a little bit off. They were about a second and a half off of it, but there it is. The lockdown, the reveal of the player on the far end. They're looking for an edge. They're hoping they weren't seen there, but Citizen might get a cheeky grenade underneath if they get the call on the right player.
He's not looking for an 8 kill, he's just looking for a kill, potentially in towards Train. There's someone right beside him. There we go, tossed it free, impact beside him. Oh, a close one. Mike dumps just to get himself out of range. Mowgli, though, will open up. Once again, Wolves on this opening kill department has been great.
Did he get Rexon on the window? I think
he did, yeah.
He was able to just keep on firing, get the kill on the far end. The attempt at the cover on Citizen, who, as you said, Mac dumped to get himself out of there. Again, Wolves have been very good on this opening kill. It's just when the formula starts to come together for the plant is where the coverage drops off. Talking of Rise, moves away instantly from the Monty. There's some time that can be wasted here. We're about to pass into the final minute of the round itself. There's pings on the player underneath, but it's not a quick movement. Grixer gets Mowgli back to a 4-4.
So it's going to be a fireplace plant from Soniqs. I think I can understand why they've brought the Monty. If you think about that single wall downstairs inside a fireplace, the reinforced one, if you can open that up and you can have your Monty just stand in the way, you can get a successful plant down, kind of in like a blind spot where they can't really touch you. Very close there from Grixer. I'm surprised his head hasn't been taken off. Gunner, though, fine chink. He's in the site all of a sudden.
How do they keep doing this? Above the hatch, gets the drop on the player. Gunner is just cruising through reading, but the only book is how to kill French players. Bibu, he's in a 1-versus-1 with the Monty. Doesn't get it. Geo with the white swing, and P4 in a clutch against an impossible object. Soniqs 7-3 on a map that they haven't played in a very long time, but my god, did they play it today.
That's twice now where Soniqs just appear out of nowhere, where they just, I don't know how they're getting themselves in these positions. I don't know what it is from Wolves. Someone's not clocked in. Someone's missing something here.
We'll go to a quick break before we're back with a breakdown and map 2.